dann müssen wir es halt fixen. Dann Thumbnail kannst du ändern, falls wir wollen. Ja. Hast du das Thumbnail? Ja, ne?
Ich glaube, ja.
YouTube? Genau. So, hopefully this is better.
Okay, Max, I don't have Thumbnail. Ich weiß nicht, was wir davon so Livestream.
Ja, aber das ist Max.
Livestream together.
Yeah. Okay, so the stream is there.
Everything is fine.
Yep, just stay safe for now. Yeah. Oh, no. And that's it. I think we are ready to go now. Okay, cool. Whew.
Are we back?
Yes, we are back, I think. So, but now we have to find the people.
I hope everyone will be back. Oh, Hamish.
Hey, Hamish.
Nice.
So
it works fine.
What I will do is, look at that. Our live stream is here right away. That's good.
That's working. Perfect.
Most likely I have to go to Twitter and just answer to my own tweet that the stream has changed.
Yes, perfect. Sorry guys for that.
On the other hand, if we are on Flutter explained.live, you should automatically getting switched to the right stream, or that would be fantastic. I'm not sure if this is working, but that would be fantastic. No.
Is that the case?
I'm not sure. Oh
yeah.
I think it works. Okay, cool. Anyhow, you have
back
now
to our
your full
topic.
HD. Well done. So we have done this. Sorry for that. It's always the problem with us. If we don't have technical issues, I think then something is wrong with us.
It's gonna be boring.
Yeah, we have switched also the microphone, so we hope that this is still good for you. The webcam is working too, I'm hoping. So now the technical stuff should be done.
Yes.
Device preview.
Perfect. Yeah. One of the packages that I found for responsive design is the device preview.
Mm-hmm.
This will help us to open our application in a selected device.
Mm-hmm.
And what we can do is after that to change the screen preview in different devices.
Okay.
For example, you can see it here.
Mm-hmm.
You can select an iPad, Android, iOS, and so on. Yeah.
Okay, so when we work now, for example, with the Mac OS, then we can just add this to look how it and work with that and look how it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, yes. It's pretty easy. We should just add it in our. If you go just a little bit further down in the screen, in the quick start, you can see that your
so we have to wrap the whole app in
run application. Then my app is, for example, in this case, is wrapped with the device preview.
Okay. So what we can do is answer some questions. I think there's
and
we have to
can you
decrease
a bit the sensitivity?
Yeah, sure. I have just to find the microphone.
Yeah. So anyway, Lohani, all's good, perfect. Hi. Okay, what I wanted to say is we should at first, but
that should be better.
We should at first decide which screen do we want to cover.
Okay, but when we start now with the device preview, we have at least our application in the device preview and can have a look how it takes or how it looks now in the device at the end.
Yeah, we can do that, Max.
Cool.
Go for it so we can see how does it look like.
I like the idea what they have done with that enabled with the K release mode, so that they have a variable that they can set to say, okay, we are in release and this doesn't have or is not allowed to have a device preview, right? So I will also add that here. Okay, for this we have to add the pubspec.yaml with the new package, right?
Yes.
Device preview. And this device preview is installing 4.5 at the moment. All right. Nope. Let's do it this way. Increase half a bit. All right. So let's get a bit higher. Like so. Maybe it's better.
Is it now better, Hamish?
We will make it perfect. Will take a while, but we make it perfect. Okay. So now we have the device preview, and you said underneath of the main, we have here the run app, right?
Yes.
Which starts up all our application.
And what you can do is, actually, you can just copy and paste the code in that you have.
Yes, so
here
inside
in
of the quick start, you say this part here. Okay. So I will do that. And let's get into it. So we just copy it here and import the device preview.
Yes.
Okay. And with that, we have now, I think...
You should just import the package.
I did it already.
Yeah, so but also in the K release, you need, I think, can you right click on it?
I think I have to create this. This is a variable.
No.
So
you should just import it, Max.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
But give me a second. I see right now that someone has subscribed, but it is not visible in the stream, or at least not yet.
We need the foundation.
You say this one?
Yes.
Okay, foundation. It's getting it right from the Flutter library of import. That's cool. So that means when we build our application in release mode, it will automatically take that variable. That's pretty fantastic.
That's right.
I didn't know that. So that's coming from the Dart VM. Oh, that's cool. All right. So we are even safe automatically.
Yes, and there is also some other variables that we can set up.
Oh, look at that. Amish has an idea about an extension. What is the name?
You may use PubSpec Assistant plugin of VS Code to install packages in PubSpec YAML. It's much easier. That's what Hamish said. Do you work actually with VS Code or Android?
I work today with VS Code. Yep, I switched because I think it is less resource hungry. So I hope that the microphone don't catch our flaming PC.
Okay.
Or laptop in that case. And this is just a hope, but let's see. Yeah, so I imported the foundation, which gets us the release mode. We have now this new package assistant. What can it do? Easily add dependencies to the project. All right, how does it work? Just entering with Shift 1 then at the end. So if I'm going to the pubspec.yaml, and I would remove that and say package, upgrade packages, get packages. Not so easily. Sorry, just want to take a look how this is working.
We directly edit the pubspec file and we don't need to go to pubdev. Does it mean that you can just find the packages in VS Code, or how does it work?
It tells something about smart fuzzy search.
So Hamish, this means that we can just install this plugin and after the search for the different packages.
So PubSpec Assistant add update dependency. We are looking for the device preview, right? Device. Let's search for device. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So now it's adding that and automatically adds that here. So release something.
Maybe so the rocket have made it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have now surrounded the device preview and have set up the release mode. Because I would like to work with the Mac OS system. I hope. I think we maybe have one problem with that. The Flutter daemon has been terminated. Okay, that sounds bad. So let's try it again, and we are choosing macOS. I think the pictures is not getting displayed with the macOS, right? Was that not the issue?
If we have network imagery, right?
I think we have the network images used in that project. I can take a look. Yeah, we have just one that is done with that. Responsive Builder, exactly. This is also a package that I have looked into. I'm not sure if it's good or bad, if this is the right thinking about it. Yeah, it's just if it is possible for you. I think they are pretty good. What I have seen, if you take a look into the packages itself, some of them have some very good ideas. But as what I also understood is that at the moment, most of the people are using anyway media query off and maybe the layout builder and not so much any creations itself.
The device preview, it's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so we start with the device preview today because we really need that when we want to think about responsive designs, because whatever we will do is then more a build up on that. So let's see if we can get that into our workspace. I get here some weird error messages which cannot open file on pubdev global packages. Okay, that sounds different. I'm closing that off once more. We don't have any problems. So let's try Flutter run.
You wanted to open it on Mac desktop?
Use Shift Command P and search for PubSpec. Yep. Yes, I did that with with F1, and then you find these add update dependencies and update dev dependencies, which works pretty fine. Run D and then Mac OS. Let's see if I can start it up.
If it doesn't work, Max, you can maybe start the Android so that you can put the Android emulator just on top of your screen.
I can do that, yeah. The hope was just if we can open it up in a Mac OS. The question is if Mac OS even supports already
this
device
this
preview.
Device
okay,
preview.
that's a good question.
Right.
I didn't take a look at that.
But
if we see it here, no, it's just available for web at the moment. So what we can do is we can just run it on the web at the moment, or so.
Do you mean that the Android and iOS doesn't work?
It works on Android and iOS. The only problem that I have with that is that the size is automatically smaller.
Yeah.
So if I change it to something else, then it's getting it's not so beautiful as if I'm doing it in web, for example.
Yeah.
So I try it with Chrome here. But that's cool. Thank you, Amish, for the idea with the PubSpec assistant. That's really helpful, I think. So we can add packages way easier. So I hope, you see, I thought so that this could happen if we are working in the console, that maybe our images with the webcam is overriding the text, but that's all right for now, I think. So even the web is not coming up. So where is the issue here?
It's somehow weird. I will just try and...
Do we get any errors? I don't get one in the console. Huh. Okay. Do we have maybe some issues with the project?
Did you update the project?
I will restart Visual Studio once more, just in case. And update our project. Because I see there are some changes here on the branch, I think. No, that should be fine. Okay. No, it's all done. Okay, that's weird.
Doesn't work?
Not yet.
How can we avoid window resizing in desktop app? Is the question the Mino is asking.
Too much space on screen. Mino asking, it would be pretty easy if we just say you take a container and make that container fixed width, and so you provide a fixed width for the whole app that is inside. But you can't avoid to resize the desktop app, I think. Or if it is possible, it should be somewhere in the Flutter SDK.
Yeah, I don't know.
Difficult to say.
Harry said you need to edit material app.
Yeah, but it seems that we use maybe a package that is not laid out for web at the moment.
So Max, I think I have the same problem.
Okay, so
for me it
not
works.
Only me.
no, I have the same problem. It doesn't show anything.
Okay.
What? Oh no, I have.
For you it works?
It works for me.
All right. So you are working on the beta channel of Flutter, right?
Wait.
Hey Shyam, Creations, nice to see you.
Yes, at the moment I'm working on the beta channel.
Okay, then I will switch quickly. It's always a work with us, till we get some working done. Doctor. Yep.
Screenshot feature is awesome on device preview. Yeah, we should try it.
Have you seen it already?
No.
No?
The screen feature, no, I didn't see that. But the cool thing is, for example, you can just open your keyboard and see how does it work, how does light and the dark mode works and everything. So it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I think if it's work, it's gonna be good.
So, Amish is mentioning that the webcams are a bit too big. So what I will do is, we don't have two monitors today. So what I will do is I just make them a bit narrow. Everyone will see everything. So you are live with me when I'm doing live streaming. It's like the full adventure today, the full thing. So make everything pretty small. So So we can even overlay each other. Let's see what happens. Isn't it beautiful?
Hamish said, it works on master, just need to add a local to material app.
So,
so what's going on?
So Flutter run. I'm trying once more to start up the application now on a beta channel, just to see what happens. The Chrome.
Stefan said, I'm so happy that's not only on my PC that things not work. I feel normal now.
Yeah, it's always great.
It's always great. Just set up a project and start with the project. It's sometimes so time consuming that you don't have even time to work on the project. So.
Yeah. Xiang, yes, Adobe XD to Flutter works pretty good. At least for that delivery entrance that they mentioned, it works very well. At least you can try it. It is very quick to try something out. And for specific components, it works even really good. Somewhere on my channel, I created also a video about that, but yeah. Okay, it's an empty screen. Did it take long till it were coming up on your part?
No, not really. I can maybe, no, it's not gonna be the problem, but maybe you can try with Android Studio.
You think that?
I don't know. It's a little bit mean. I can imagine that's gonna be.
I have here a lot of changes right now. I have PubSpec, Launch.json, Manifest. What is all of that? These are just generated, but also in the main, I have just a device preview.
What did Hamish said? Hamish said that.
I just see the frame is on the way, so let's get rid of the frames everywhere. So and.
Why do we have so many frames?
Where? What happens?
I search sometimes the code through Adobe XD. Hey. Okay, all local to material app. So Hamish said we should change the local to material app.
Okay, I created something, but I don't know. Okay, I shouldn't do that more often. So
okay.
This is the header, but if I disable the header, everything is gone. So that header text, so get rid of all of that, and now we have just this. Okay, perfect, and you don't have to search anything there. So.
And Armin said I literally couldn't use any Flutter comments for a whole day, and a simple restart saved me from going crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
So Max.
Yes.
Now.
Okay, what I will do is, instead of using all of that, we just stick with the basic. Okay. We just stick with the basic iOS simulator. Just because I know it will work there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least I hope.
Did you update the project, Max?
What do you mean?
From the GitHub?
Yeah, sure. So
yeah?
Git pull, I did all of that. I think that, yeah, already up to date, nothing there.
So Mino is asking if we use a particular size of a container, it will overflow but cannot avoid resizing, I guess. And Hamish said you couldn't.
Does he mean me with the local? That I missed something here? But so Hamish is asking, I think he's talking with us with that material.
Okay. So hey, Hamish, don't be angry. I thought you are speaking with, anyway. You hadn't added local to material app. So, Max.
Device preview of context local. Mahtab.
I said you should copy.
You said this is enough. It is not.
Why?
Thank you, Hamish. It is so.
What's going on?
We need to
I didn't add it. Really?
Obvious.
I have the same.
Okay.
Let's see if this solves the problem.
Hopefully.
So, I hope for us.
Yeah. And what is the builder? Device builder? App builder? But here's written add the builder, so I will do that. So in the end, this should do the trick. Maybe it's just for the web then that is needed or something.
It could be.
Poor Hamish.
Thank you, Hamish.
Starting up the Chrome once more, running it in debug.
So do you know that sometimes it doesn't work just on my device or on other device? So it's something like that. To be fair, it works on mine without local. Armin, thank you. It works also for me. So
Maybe it is the release mode. Maybe I'm somehow switched to a different release mode or something.
Or it's because of just your PC.
Maybe it's just
your Mac is weird.
Okay, we get now 3 dev tools. I close some down.
Go, 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 go.
Hey Ashish.
Hey Ashish.
So nothing
nice
worked.
To see you around. Now Hamish and Max are in a team and I'm with Armin in one team. Fingers crossed. I did it, but it doesn't work.
I don't know what's going on.
It's VS Code this time. I would say the same.
I don't even get an error message. This is really the problem. Do I get... Ah, look at that. I get an exception. Maybe this is the problem. No, also not.
VS Code letting you down when you were praised.
If you don't use it regularly, you get...
I will try with Android Studio.
Right.
Even if heavy said so. Let's go for Android Studio.
So many comments that I ignore now with Android Studio.
How much pressure do you feel?
It's crazy. Okay, so now Mahtab is getting stuck. So I make it small and cancel that because it's the wrong project. So save recipe was it, right? So at least the name is... Okay, close that, yeah. Okay, so let's see where we are. I just update everything once more. Base, don't show. We go to the project.
Do you want maybe just run it first to see if your project works?
Yes.
You have... Did you commit it already? Oh yeah, okay.
I didn't have to commit it. It's just the same file system, right?
Yeah, right.
So let's open up Chrome. We start up the main app and let's see what happens.
VS Code sometimes lets you down.
Well, till today, both environments worked very well for me, so can't complain. It is just a bit weird that the IDE should... So if it works now, I'm really confused, to be honest. Because it wouldn't make so much sense, right? We do exactly the same thing. I know, doesn't work.
And how about if you just remove the changes and see if this would work?
If even the application is working?
Ari has a better idea. An if-else condition.
Should there not be a run app
and
somewhere?
In the else condition we have shut down and walk away.
Okay,
so it's a little bit...
So we have that. Material app, there is nothing. Home, my home page. Okay.
Max, can you reverse all changes and see if
sure. Where is it? Rollback is the name. Rollback
and see. Flutter upgrade. Try inspecting widgets. Really, everything. Oh, see that?
Okay, so without...
Did you revert?
Yes. So without device preview, it looks pretty ugly, but it works. That is something. Okay. Alright, so we're closing that off. And now I got told by this. I have to surround the run app. I removed the run app, guys. So
really?
Yes. So if I reload the whole thing, I was confused because I couldn't see in the main file a run app. And if you don't have a run app around your app, it will not run the app. So okay, we learned something.
Max, you can just You can just copy the whole main function.
Yeah.
Okay, just
because my app is
honestly everything. Okay. So
I believe you guys. Okay, that was a pretty...
Shiba, hi, nice to see you.
Yeah.
It's Shiba, a little bit late.
Thank you.
You came a little bit late, but still. With device preview, yes.
So
now
beautiful.
It looks ugly, but it works. Right.
Yeah, you see, I'm completely convinced about our own app, so it is... Okay, but here we are. So finally
we have the device preview. So look at that.
And I would say on the small device, it looks already pretty good. So iPhone 5, check.
Let's say the same, yeah.
I think we're getting we're getting famous for our sentences that we create.
app won't run without run app.
Okay, so iPhone 8 looks also good. iPhone X also no problem. Didn't you say we had some... okay, that button up here is behaving very strange.
Which device did you select now, Max?
I use now iPhone X. So 10 is the name. With XS, XR. So you can see that brings us device preview, which is of course like the amazing and necessary thing for all the responsiveness, right? So that's we have also in the browser. I don't know if you know it for other. So if we go to my favorite page, which is heise.de, it's like a technology website in German. Sorry for that. But what we have is actually this nice little preview where we have all the different devices, where we can try every web page for every part. And that's what brings device preview for Flutter.
Yes,
and that's why I really like this idea. So the add button looks very off. I don't know even why there is such a space. It looks very weird, so we should have a look in that. I'm pretty proud of our stack here.
Yeah, that it works really pretty good.
Even the
and also the sliver works really good.
Yep. But
how about the add recipe screen?
Yep, let's switch to the add recipe screen. So this is on the iPhone XR right now. And I would say even there it looks pretty good.
It looks good, but I think we should do something for the space between the image, the container for the image and the button. It's somehow, I can imagine if the screen gets bigger, we will get some problems.
So thank you for subscribing.
Even though with all...
To master and test for Mac.
What's going on? Can you read the complete sentence?
I just read what Hamish has written, and he is writing that the add button is not proper, which we found, and the other thing is that we move to master and test for Mac. Okay, so what we can do is Mac, we can switch somewhere to Mac. Is that possible? iPod, iOS free form, so this maybe is kind of a Mac. Wow. Okay.
Is it the Mac desktop or what's that?
No. I think so. This is now free form, so that means we can enter the device sizes that we want. So the screen width, for example, we could say we want to have a full HD desktop application, right? That would be always 1920 to 1080. And this you can see, and I'm a bit confused because that works pretty well. If we move that, okay, now it's getting a bit stretched, but this is mostly because of the background image. It's not high dense, so it is not highly in the high
resolution.
Resolution, thank you, in the high resolution. But also our idea of having a container that is 80% looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Somehow, right.
Yes.
Now,
okay.
That's a good point from Imish.
Yeah, what's going on?
Because now if it's running an app, we could try to run it also on macOS, right?
Yes.
But for this, I will do here on the side, changing them to master. In the meantime, we can talk a bit more about the device preview, if this is working.
Yeah.
So another possibility is hiding the frame. I'm not sure. Okay, this doesn't do anything for the iframe, for the freeform. But for here, we should see a frame, right? So this is the space surrounding it.
Yes.
I thought there would be like a frame of the device somehow.
Yeah, I had it also. Wait, I will tell you.
But as you can see, even Android works.
Hide frame and show frame, Max.
Yes,
and hide frame.
I pressed that, but as you can see, it doesn't do it like I expected. Heise is very good, and Golem. They are German websites that I'm always on, but I think they don't have or provide English material yet. So yeah.
And what you can also do is to rotate your device, Max.
To rotate the device? Yeah, the problem is I changed to Flutter Channel Master and now the application is stuck as we expected. Okay, but in the meantime, I update that. Should be quick because I updated now several times. So as you can see, the 200 megabytes should be cached. Cool.
And what do you want to start now? What do you want to change?
First of all, I want to take a deeper dive into the device preview before we start something to change. So, for example, I would love to improve the add button because it looks really ugly. On the other hand, I would maybe think about to bring some real pictures into our application because at the moment, the pictures are just network images, right?
Yeah.
And we have always the problem that they change. that they don't behave like we expect, especially for resolution wise, and we have the possibility to bring some pictures in, like for example from Unsplash.
Okay.
Or that would be
so
something.
So you want some asset images.
It removes the drop. Shadow can you add points from website to screen.
Max, but what I am a little bit confused about is, as we developed our app, we had all the time, I think, iOS or Android emulator, and the add button was completely fine.
Yes.
I don't know if there is something, I don't want to say wrong, but different between device preview and the emulator, because I think we can rely actually on the emulator that we have.
Okay. So what we can do, or what we can try, is changing to the release mode with the macOS. And if we have the responsiveness there, we would see some wackiness if something's completely wrong. So now I've changed to master. We're starting up the application in macOS. I'm really hoping that all our packages that we are using are ready to go with the macOS part, but I think there should be nothing serious. Maybe the device preview is not there. The provider should be fine. Image picker, perfect.
Oh, no, okay, perfect.
So as you can,
and look at that. Now the add button is also fine.
And also we have a device surrounding it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
This is what you looked for.
Yes, because I was asking myself if I'm hiding the frame and just the drop shadow getting down, it's sad. Yeah, Talat, was it really sad? I didn't see it. Emish wrote it. Mahtab, what is wrong?
What? Did I miss something?
That's no problem. It's all good. We can even... Whoa, what happens here?
Shiva looks good.
Here was a problem with the, I think, inside of the app somewhere. But as you can see, we can also change the language of the application.
I think... But it's just... I don't know.
Sorry?
I read something, you can change the language if it's supported. I think the preferences or somewhere.
Okay.
You can after that try to...
Maybe it is because of the material localization is not part of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Can you create carousel image and add images from Firebase? We can do it, but actually it's...
We will have a try on the next time, I think. Today was more responsive work.
And what we actually want to do...
But an image carousel is cool.
I think instead of the Firebase, we want to actually use the SQLite.
True.
So
to keep everything local, that's
to
true.
Keep everything
but
local.
Maybe I can put that on the Saturday live stream where I just take a look. I anyway wanted to do something with the live stream and Firebase because there were surprisingly a lot of questions regarding to Firebase. I didn't expect that, but still there is a lot of questions regarding to Firebase, how we work with it and what we can do.
What I will do is just add to our list so that you won't forget.
Oh no, I think I closed myself out in the application. Can I restart the whole thing? Yeah. So I have to hot reload. But what do we have else? So we have that we can change the devices that we have seen now. So that's something. Then we can change the local if we would set up that correctly. So that is pretty cool. Another thing would be, here's the restart button. I really should read more.
I think this is the first time that we use the package.
Exactly. Then we can rotate the device, which comes more handy for the smaller devices, I think. So we have the horizontal and the landscape and the portrait mode. We can hide the frame. We can show this keyboard, which is
also cool.
Because I think that is one of the most important things right away for like forms. As you can see on our form right now, nothing is responsive here.
And we can't scroll.
We can't scroll. We have no chance to leave that screen. And in the worst case, we don't have a return button that closes off the keyboard.
Yeah.
And also what we can see here that could be improved.
Okay. I am on mobile apps, but you may.
So then there is a light and dark theme. And we can take screenshots. How does the screenshot look like? I don't know. Is available here, file IO. Oh, cool. So
we have a path.
Sadly, I can't copy it.
Stefan said the button is okay. It's right. Now it looks fine. Oh?
Yeah.
Is it just the iOS
Maybe
or
it was
is
just
it
in
also
the web that there is some problems with the web or something?
if you choose another device, how does it look like?
We can change to the Android.
Yeah, for example.
And even there it looks okayish, I would say.
Yeah, I think we need a little bit more padding on the right side, but anyway, it's good. Oh, Hamish, what did you?
I read something about a comment, and there was an RF. He wanted to delete something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No copy clipboard. And the lock. You're right.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Also, it creates a shot, and then it uploads it directly into File.io. So File.io is most likely a file.io. Yeah, so it is something where you can upload images right away and can share it with other people.
So that means the screenshot that you did is now
right
available for everyone.
File.io. Yeah, and it's only one time on there, I think. So thank you, Arvin. So that means when we make a screenshot, we get the image path. Well, that was wrong. But down here, we get a new image path, and we can watch it exactly once.
Such an amazing idea. Yeah, it's really awesome. Do you know this command?
Yeah, Hamish. For everyone else, be very careful with whatever Hamish has written right now, because RMRF would remove all your files and you could watch your system die slowly. Oh, I see right now.
What was that?
Do you remember when we changed the stream from HD to full HD?
Yes.
Now we missed that we have the wrong latency. So that means we are 30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
So that means whatever they wrote or write, they are in the past. So this is our problem at the moment. So that's why we are a bit ahead with everything what we are doing. So sorry guys, today we have some small latency, I think like 30 seconds, I imagine. Yeah, okay. But pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Don't run it on your machine. Yeah, it's a good hint. Thank you,
Good.
Hamish. And I wanted to read something else. Which database is best for Flutter? Is Saraj asking. I think it's a hard question. Or I mean, there's no.
The thing is, we are here on completely two different things, right? If we are talking about a database for Flutter, we more have to ask the question: do you want to create a client-server system?
Yeah.
Or do you more search for a pure client system? That means you want to save all your data on the device. Then you would take something like SQLite or shared preferences. While shared preference can only save strings, while SQLite, for example, can save strings, integers, all the things, booleans and everything.
Yeah.
And also arrays, I think. And with that, we have much more power for this stuff. And then if you want to have a server-client architecture, you can decide, for example, Postgre or Firebase or SQL. You can take whatever you want. So there are multiple ways. But if you search for a specific database for Flutter, you can take everything, because Flutter is a framework for the front end and not for the back end. So you have there all the options that you want. Okay, accessibility. We can increase the text size. So that means, for example, some devices can set up in their settings bigger text sizes, right?
Yeah, with a bigger font size, yeah.
Yes, and as you can see, that will be reflected in our app if you are using this accessibility part.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool, because that shows, for example, that our stack here needs some improvement maybe.
Yeah.
Because for people with large text, so for example, my mom would use that.
Yeah.
She would get some problems with our app because she can't read anything, right?
And probably she can.
And also here with them, it's getting a bit problematic. So it's
I think the container should be responsive to the text inside.
That would be an option.
For example.
Obviously, that would be an option. The thing is, I think we made that hard-coded a little bit.
Yeah.
So we set height in a different part or in a specific part. And also here we set up this heights. And I think that
or what we did, I think, is also that we set up a container and a text field inside the container, so something it's like not responsive. enough.
But we have to think about that, yeah? If we are talking about responsiveness, all these parts and accessibility are, of course, a very important thing, especially if you are talking with big companies. Accessibility is always a very important thing.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, we can also invert colors, which doesn't do so much in our screen right now, because we don't use the theme so much, I think. Accessible navigation, okay. Whatever this means, don't know. And disable animations. Does it work? No. Okay. Interesting. And bold text. Okay. So all these parts are there. Background theme. Okay. And with these settings, we can have the settings of the device screen itself, right?
Yes.
Cool. I think we are through with that now.
Did you mention also the dark and light mode?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I shortly clicked on it, and with the dark light, we can really switch the theming out, right? So from the device.
But we don't have it at the moment, so it doesn't work.
Okay, so where should we start? What should be our first task? What should we fix? Because I think we have several different options that we can work on. Now the question is, what should be the first thing that we should working on?
What's going on now? Okay. The container for the pancake at the moment, for example, now it's responsive.
I think it's because of the restart. So when we have here a very big start and I'm just making hot reload, no, doesn't work.
Okay, I think it's too big now.
Yeah. Okay.
So it will work till
it doesn't work anymore.
It doesn't work.
No, I think the device is smaller here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, can you scroll down there in the chat?
Yes.
That we see everything? Look at that.
Okay.
So where are we?
The mic is okay. Thank you. Why is the mic off? Icon over Mahtab's cam. Yeah, because we are using together one mic. Otherwise, you will hear us 2 times. But it does make sense.
Great,
yeah. It's get a little bit too much. It would loop the audio if both. Yeah, Aaron. And Meno asked he's not able to send links in chat. So I think it's gonna be blocked, right, Max?
Yes, I don't know what about the links. I tried everything on YouTube and everything to finish that off. But unfortunately, if you want to send a link into our chat, then you have to do it with an .com, with a 0 or something, or
be creative a little bit. Exactly. So we will understand it, but somehow.
Okay.
Okay. So Max,
back to the question: what should we fix the first time? So if we are talking responsive, what is really bad? What should be finished? Well, I don't like that we don't have a border on the right side here whatsoever. This is a small thing that we could fix very easily, I assume.
Yeah.
And if we go into the next page, even though I'm not sure here on that button, I think we should. Why is it not centered? That is a bit weird, right?
We have, I would say we need a little bit much more padding on the right side.
Yeah, but we at least have to take a look maybe on the normal screen.
Let's start with that, Max.
Yeah, with the button?
Go for it.
Okay. So how would we actually do that? So we know now that should work.
Can you make your font size a little bit bigger?
My font size? Oh yeah, sure.
I think it's a little bit too small.
That's 18. I don't know. Can you read everyone? Is that good?
Perfect. So where is our button?
What is recipe? A safe recipe? That is maybe a good question, because a lot of people don't know maybe what we are doing here.
The safe recipe is an idea that we had to save simply our recipe that we find in internet. Normally, if we find some recipe in internet, we will cook it, and after a while we will forget it. For the next time that we want to cook it again, we can't find it anymore. So we had an amazing idea that we can just make a screenshot for now, and save it in SQLite or in our application and use it for the next time that we want to cook again. So this is the basic idea of this application that we will create.
Together with you.
Yes, together with you guys.
So I started now up an Android emulator, and there was a very interesting chat when I the first time started that up. because I named my Android emulator Flutter emulator.
Okay.
So I thought myself that because I did that way long ago when I get this laptop, and so I thought myself this is maybe a Flutter emulator that comes with the master channel. And so I answered someone, yeah, this is with Flutter Master on Android Studio, then you get the Android emulator, Flutter emulator. And then I understood, no, this is just an emulator.
Your naming.
Yeah, that I just, where I just disabled the device surrounding. Okay, but still it runs the Gradle, everything builds.
Hamish said again that my microphone is mute. Can you hear us good? So if it's everything is, you can hear us good, it's not matter. So there's a make.
Yeah. So if you don't like it, I can do the following. I can just.
You can just overlap.
Wrap it and put it a bit down. So.
Can you overlap your screen
this is also
over my screen?
Yeah, that's true. I can just push you down.
Now it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also okay.
What is your problem with the microphone? Hamish, what's going on? Everything sounds okay. Thank you very much, Stefan. For your supporting and your feedback.
I think the sad thing, Shiva, was that he tried even to he asked even in Reddit, and I felt so bad. So he asked in Reddit, and everyone was mocking him for searching for a Flutter emulator. That was so sad. And the worst thing is, it was my fault, right? So I felt really bad with the whole thing. So now this one is really stuck, or?
So Max, do you have run app? Just asking.
Today is a very good live stream. I think we will manage a lot today. It's like
we managed to live stream and not streaming and not coding.
At least you have your fun. That's good.
So Harry said we can hear, but there is an icon. Yeah.
So can I not use this one? I think that should be possible. Right?
Mino is really creative, so I will try to open your URL. See what's going on. URL.
What are you doing?
Short URL.
You have to copy it. You have to remove all these spaces.
I did it.
You didn't?
Short URL.at.
Yeah.
And this is.
So.
Okay, I thought I understand you, Mina, but I think, wait. This link. If works, continue, else shut down and restart. I don't know which one is better, shut down and go away or shut down and restart.
Pod file is out of date.
Max?
Do you know that if something is really not working, if you present something or you're doing a live stream or something, that really everything falls apart during you're working on it? It's like, these days.
Best thing is that you don't feel any pressure, Max.
I closed that down. I'm keeping macOS. I know it works, so we are working with that now. The only thing is that I will do is I will remove the device preview for now, or better, I will disable the device preview by saying here false. And with that, usually we should get now our device itself inside. And then let's have some code. Let's write something.
Yeah, we would be happy. Meno, I tried it, but somehow it doesn't work. AUWFY. Oh yes, I know what you mean.
So I managed it to come to the site. So we are here on Reddit. Poor Mino. So
showcase of Max his answers.
So he really found a solution to limit the screen size. I was trying to make Flutter Desktop. So in Flutter Desktop, to give the sizing just a specific height and width, this should be the possibility. But it's just for Windows, right? If I see that correct. Or is that for
Max, is it the URL which Mino sent us?
Yes.
Okay.
The URL was that.
Why I can't open it?
Because you have a space between dot and.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Okay, good. Let's have some fun. Okay. let's assume this would be our application. The thing is, or what I don't understand is the recipe of the day, right? Shouldn't that be always keeping the screen size? Or was that on purpose that we said it should get smaller but not bigger?
I think we wrote max width or something like that. We defined max width.
So we don't want to get that spread
further. We didn't want, okay, but I don't know if it's close enough or not. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So here we are. Here this works. But as you can see, as soon as we get a smaller screen size, we get some issues here. And what I would do for this purpose, I would understand first how we would solve a responsive design like this, right? So if we go to Adobe, and what I want to do is I would create an own screen size for that. So we take an artboard, and that didn't work like I expected, but we can just push that down, right? So we can select that, and we can flip that. And with that, we have the possibility to work now on that size, right? So let me see if I can flip that also over. So that is 880. Wait, can I? Yeah, here. So I can move that by 90 degrees, for example, and would add that here.
Could you give me your cable?
Power? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Here we go.
Thank you. Yes.
So now we have to understand first how we want to solve this issue, right? Because we have not so much space, but we have still the same elements, right? Oops.
Yes.
And I see right now that this should lock, so make that a component. So with that, we have now here these elements, and all of these elements are still here. The question is, of course, do we want to keep, for example, this this border here? Because one solution could be that we just flip that border like so.
Yeah, actually the width, the height of the border will be changed.
The width and the height of the border? So this one here?
Yeah, this container.
So we would keep that container and just flip it. And I think this is what happens right now, right? If we take a look here and make that a bit bigger, okay, on that size it's not good enough. But if we take a look on down here, that container is still here, right?
Yes.
So as we should have something like, if we are coming down to a certain size, so we have a certain width and we have a certain height, then please change to this behavior like we create. So for that, we could, for example, create two different widgets. Mahtab is frozen. Okay, so let me check. Up. Yeah, no, shouldn't be. I think she's always frozen when I'm on Adobe.
Okay, it's fine. You don't need me.
Yeah. Okay. It's always on that screen, so Mahtab will be frozen for a second. I'm sorry.
And also avoid button padding property. It may work, I think, said Meno. So the next question is that at the moment we have a column with different text containers and our button.
Yeah.
And what we can do, maybe instead of a container, go for a row or something like that.
So exactly, a row. Yep, that would be working.
Or two columns.
If we have, or two columns, yeah. The question is more, what we also could do is just making it scrollable, right? I think I read that already, that we could use a single scroll widget, single child scroll widget, which Mino said. And that would be an option. And hey, Jordi. And now I destroyed your web screen. I think I just did. I thought it was a good idea to put your like this inside, but somehow it makes more problems than it solves. Okay, so I can.
It was the lack of power. Could be.
What?
That I was frozen.
No, I think whenever I'm on that other screen, then because I'm in full screen here in Adobe, then it's automatically gets frozen. But okay, anyhow, so what we have here is we have these two input fields, right?
Yes.
And we have one big image at the end, right? So what we could do is, for example, selecting everything inside of this container and keep it as part of it. Like we have that at the moment as a stack. Bring that on the side like so. And keep the sizes like they are. and then just have the button down on the bottom.
In the button.
So
in the middle.
Something like that. So the question is, for that we have to change a lot, right? We have to create more or less the whole screen once more with an own widget, right? That we say something like, if you are in that certain amount of height, in that certain amount of width, then we use, for example, a landscape widget. And on the other side, we use a
scrollable.
Scrollable, thank you. So that would be an option. Also, what we could think about is keeping everything like it is, like here, and make it just scrollable.
The thing is that at the moment we need anyway scrollable.
Yes.
Because as soon as our keyboard is open, we can write anything and we can scroll. So let's start and fix the scrollable.
Okay.
And after that, try to see how does it look like when we go to rotate our device.
So we start with that composition, right? And make it a bit smaller. So this is the issue that we right now face, right?
Yeah.
So we want to, anyway, even though that is a bit small, we want to make it scrollable, that it looks good.
Yes.
Okay, or what we could do is what Stefan says. We could block the landscape. So you are not allowed to turn this to a landscape mode. But even that, it's not really nice, because if you are thinking about such a device that is more cubic or something, then you restrict your users, right? But it's also a solution.
And to be honest, I think this is a good idea sometimes, but if you want actually to use your application in other screen, such as, I don't know, web or iPad or something like that, probably you should consider the bigger width of screens.
But what we could do, of course, is say, if you are on a tablet, then this restriction of making it landscape is falling off.
Okay.
That you just say it is on a small device, you don't allow to rotate, and on a bigger device you do that.
Yeah, fine, fair enough.
But I mean, this is still an issue, right?
Yeah, we should fix this one at
first. So let's fix that first. So we heard already single child scroll widget or list view widget, all possibilities that we have.
Yeah.
So recipes are usually list based. Yes, that is correct. I think if we take a look into the Adobe once more, our recipes later will have such a view that we have the multiple recipes there. Okay. Whew. It's getting stormy right now, right?
It would be nice to run Flutter desktop apps on Linux, Windows. I think that now you can only do that on Mac, isn't it?
Not correct, Jordi. I created a video for Friday where I install Flutter on Windows, and after that we start the Flutter Windows desktop application. So you can see there everything. That is like the perfect question for the day. Thank you.
You made Mac so happy. So
all right, so
the answer to your question will come on Friday.
Exactly. So we have padding. Oh geez, we did a lot here in that screen, right? So 180. Okay, so what do we want to scroll at the end? So if I'm taking that and scroll, we want to scroll these parts in the center, right? That stack more or less. So everything here that is living in the stack should be scrollable, right?
Yes.
So what I could do is I can wrap that in a single child scroll view. We have the child of the stack. Let's see what happens. Now it could break, right? Because if we have something like infinity and stack could be also infinity, then it could break some of the app. So, and as you see, you don't see anything. I have to go to the next screen. And you can see we get a lot of errors, right?
Yeah.
Because exactly this is the problem. It has no size and the stack has no size. So with that, we are running into the issue. With that could be a little bit more tricky, I think. How can we solve that? So usually I would try to surround everything with an expanded widget, right? So that we say something is expanded in that part. But I can see right now we have a column. And this is part of the expanded.
How about if you wrap your expanded with a single child scroll view?
We can try that, yeah.
Because it's anyway.
The expanded, no, this will not work because the expanded is only allowed in a column, right?
Yeah.
So expanded, But what we could do is the opposite of expanded. We could say flexible, so take the space that you need. But even there, because single child scroll view is infinity height, it would not work.
Okay.
So what does the chat say? I have a question.
I have a question, maybe out of context. Sorry, for future video. Maybe.
No worries, Jordi.
Okay,
go for it,
Jordi. Max, can you please, meanwhile, put your iOS emulator on the right side or left side and close the left side of your project, so it's not needed.
Can do that.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Absolutely.
Yep. Is it possible to do widget for Android, old desktop widget with Flutter? Is it possible to do widgets for Android, old desktop widget with Flutter? I would say yes. Max, what?
Sorry, what is the question?
Is it possible to do widgets for Android? I don't know. I don't understand the question.
That's a good. That is a very interesting question. I have no idea. I'm sorry. I don't know, Jordi. Didn't have checked that yet. So you mean like widgets that you have on your desktop to see, for example, notes or something like that? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the latency of the chat is like 30 seconds. As I said, we are a little bit delayed today. Okay. Okay, I should wrap the column. Yeah, that could be a solution. Yeah, true. So I removed the single child here and wrap the column with a single child scroll view. So now, because the column has still an infinity height, so I'm still thinking it will break, but we can take a look. So yeah, exactly. The background is here still, but if we scroll, it is infinity height, and with that, the infinity height inside of an infinity height is not good.
Yes.
So we have to do something against that. So what can we do actually? We have that column inside of a single child widget. This is not allowed. And we have that expanded with a stack. Oh, I think we're coming now into problems. It's gonna be very interesting, today's session. Let's see how we can fix that. We want to scroll actually, and we want to scroll all these parts inside, and we created a stack for this, right? So we have a stack with different children. Position it, padding, and there are all these parts inside.
I will be right there, Max. I try just to...
So minnow means that we should grab the column with
a container.
Single child.
Change column to list view. Change column to list view, I think, is also a good idea.
Wrap column with container, and this one wrap with a container, but still it would not. Would it
we should after that we should hard code the height of the container, I think, isn't it?
No, that doesn't work. We have to give constraints somewhere. That is the most important part. So that's, and even with the change the column to a list view, that would be a solution, I think, because a list view has also children. The only problem is that our button down here is just getting hidden. And the form. Where's our form actually? That should be inside somewhere, or here. Yeah. So now, why is our button gone? I think the button is...
Is the button part of our column? No, actually.
Yes, obvious or not? I thought so. So that is the column. The button is part of the form. And I think the form is too big. And now we have to constrain the form here. And there we have a padding. So what we could do is make this one flexible maybe. But this has a... Ah, no, it's part of a stack. So what could we do? If we want to leave that as a column, then we get our button back. And now the answer was we could maybe wrap the form just with the single child.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
The code menu should be down in the video description if everything is correct.
I will just have a double check, but I think you should.
But even there, the same issue. So we can scroll. So what we have to do, actually, and this is what I think we have to do, is we have to take that as a column for now. And how I would go with it is saying that this submit button is not part anymore of...
Have a double check.
I hear ourselves.
Sorry. That's fine. I just want to have, yes.
Yes,
You should be able to find the link to the GitHub repository in the video description. Only wrap form with single child scroll view, Max.
I did that right now, but exactly what I said is the same problem, because the button is part of our form at the moment. We are coming into the same issue here. So where is the button actually? That is here, and this is part of the spacer, and we don't need the spacer, I think. Then our button comes back, and instead of a spacer we use the size box here with a height of, I don't know, 20 pixels maybe, and we should be finished.
Fine. Good.
Yeah. So if we scroll, we can now scroll that form, I think. So how does it look in the small screen? Still a bit unflexible, but still better than before, right? So we see the button not anymore completely. We can scroll down. That's something. But still our spaces here in between getting so small. That's a bit weird.
I had crossed 90 point on Flutter Explainer.
All right. So if we have that done, and we have now the spaces in between. Why are they so flexible? Are they combined to something? So we have the sized boxes with the height of a media query here. 0.5. So where comes this sized box from? We have the column with the cross stretch. So this is this part here inside, right? Yes, only the image picker. But where does this height, what does it solve actually? Okay, the size solves the issue that we have no spaces here.
Space between. Didn't we do that with the main axis alignment, Max?
Solve this. Is it still running, or do we get errors? I'll make a hot reload for now, just to take a double look. No, sorry?
I thought we fixed the spaces between them in a column axis in the main axis alignment.
For what exactly? So we had here a sized box surrounding the containers with the text form fields, and I think this height here creates this spacing here in between. And Stefan right now says correctly that only the last part is getting snipped away or cut away. So what would happen if we make it very, very, very narrow? Yeah, you see, it's really just the last part that's getting somehow, because I think this has a fixed height.
And this is an image picker, I think, isn't it?
I think we just called it as a container. Let us check. So we have here a container with the width of 0.3 and a width of double infinite, which is fine. And here we make the calculation. Okay. So this container has a height of 0.3, this is this part. And it's getting too small to do that. So what we could do is, one thing is we could check against the complete height of the screen. But on the other hand, I'm asking myself if we really should... what is the use of points? For the points that you receive at the moment on Flutter Explain.live. These points are currently just loyalty points. I want to introduce in the future something for them. I'm still working on that. As soon as I'm knowing more, you will be the first one who knows about it, Amish. So we have these things, and this one is getting too narrow. So what happens if I'm giving that a fixed height? So let's assume we have that on 100. It doesn't look nice, but it still gets snipped off if we are pushing that down. And I think the problem is that the space that we have inside of the whole thing is too less. So we have to think about this sized box. What happens if I remove it? And now scrolling up, you can see now
everything is fine.
It works better. So this sized box gives us a headache here in that area. So what could we do to get there still some spaces and maybe make them a bit harsher. So with the size box, we created that space and removed all of that.
And can you use maybe the main axis alignment to see what are the options are?
You mean the space between of the column?
Yeah.
Space around, space evenly?
We had already main axis alignment.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Space between is currently the mentioning. But the problem is that this area is just as the minimum value that it can get, right?
Yeah.
It tries to be as small as possible.
So what we can do maybe is...
I would try to make it flexible.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a
yeah,
try.
Go for it.
No, it doesn't work. And the same for expanded, I assume. So
but it's part of a column. Actually, it should be work.
Yeah, the problem is that, again, the column inside of a column, right? So
yeah.
It's getting too big. It has infinity sizes without any possibility of... But why is a column in a column working?
Stefan is asking, but will the size of the screen ever be this small? No, actually not, but if we rotate it
the question is, what happens if we do this, right? So now it works because we remove the size box here. But if we reintroduce the size box here where we surround everything, then we get the error again. And of course it will just affect the lowest part here, but I think still this feels not so clean at the end. So we still run into the issues. And I think that should be fixable. I can't imagine that this should be so hard to solve that issue. So the easiest way to do, actually, in my opinion, is to remove that single screw, that size box here, where we specify the 0.5 for the form, right?
Yes.
This is the full width. And we would just remove this part. And inside of the column that we create now, with the recipe name and noodles and so on, we would just separate them by size boxes. Does it make sense? So instead of having this, we would just add here size box with a height of, for example, 20 all the time. And we would copy that over between this and this area. And with that, we have the spaces here, right? And if we make it smaller, it doesn't get crashed anymore. Same for here.
Which is perfect, actually.
And we can scroll. Because now we have set fixed heights for that. So the calculation inside works correctly, right? So we add here fixed widths, heights.
Can you make the screen completely big?
Yeah, sure. The only problem that I see at the moment, which I don't like so much, is because the scrolling starts from here.
Yeah.
The stuff is getting hidden there. So it feels like bad practice.
Yeah, it's somehow.
It's very cool from the design point of view, but I think, especially when it comes to scrolling, it feels like the customer or user loses these elements.
How about if we scroll the whole screen under the sliver or under at the app bar?
That's the next thing that
I
we can
think
try.
it's better.
So you mean, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. The question is if I can do that so easily, because I think then we are running again in the problem with the other thing.
Okay.
Yes, Android user. I think that we will do the next part. But anyway, I think for the keyboard it is very important, right? Because if I click here inside in a device, then the keyboard will show up. And most of the time this looks very weird. So maybe I can show you if I can open up the iOS simulator. No, I have wrong pod files. If I'm opening up the Flutter emulator.
Your Android emulator?
I think this was also destructed somehow, right? Do you have... can I get...
Zip of
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So...
What we want to do is maybe we have a scaffold, and inside of that we have columns.
So what is your idea?
We don't want to use the size box anymore. Yes. This is not a solution.
Where did we push that element down? I think we have that some here. That needs to be this container, right? And you mentioned right now that we maybe can move that container here. Is this the right one? This has the child node, it's this padding, so it is really part of that stack here. We would move, or we had to scroll single, these names, child scroll view surrounding here. And that would be the optimal case, but right now I think it's broken. If we are going to that, oh no, it's working. So why can't I scroll? My gosh, no, it's right. What if you would make two designs and transform between the two design pages? Yes, this is how I explained, for example, the first time, my very first video on this channel regarding to Flutter was exactly for that case. So we create two own widgets, and depending on the screen size, we show the one or the other. The problem with that is this creates a lot of code, right? You have to do, and you have to maintain a lot of code. But for a real project, I would really, really recommend that. So now I managed it somehow to make a single child scroll view around our stack, but I can't scroll. Don't know.
No, it doesn't work.
Now. Okay, I just have to be small enough. Oh, look at that.
Which is amazing.
I managed it, everything scrolls now, including the container below. So if it is a bit bigger, then it looks like this, which is not so nice, I think.
But what I'm thinking now is, now if you use the single child scroll view there, actually you should be able to use the size box again.
The size box surrounding... Okay, but this wouldn't solve the problem, right? Or? I mean, the problem is that we scroll with that container here. And we can, if I'm scrolling high enough, you can see we cut that off.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel so good, I think. It looks a bit ugly.
Is it? Yes, it is. So,
no, that's no problem, Stefan. It was just something that you are absolutely right. That would work, obviously. That is a very good idea. As I said, for bigger projects, I would highly encourage you for that. I'm just not sure if we want to do that now at this point. On the other hand, why not? We can do that, of course. Would maybe also solve some issues here. Child scroll view here in that area, so maybe this looks a bit better. Look at that.
What's going on now?
So now I managed it, as you said, that we scroll the whole form and we go underneath of the app bar. So it looks
without the container.
Yes, without the container. So the container is not part of the scroll effect anymore. And so it looks more like we move something on top of the screen.
Which is much better, right? Yeah.
So I think that solves a lot of issues here. And especially the benefit is if we are big enough, where we don't have to scroll, we can't scroll even. So now the only problem is for the very big resolutions, we maybe should include some different ways. And there I would absolutely recommend what Stefan said, that we have maybe a screen where the main screen and the second screen is together. Yeah. Okay. So, if we want,
what I can also imagine is for the add screen in the bigger screen to just have more padding so that the form is in the middle of the screen.
That would be something. Or what we also could do is a dialogue. So if you click something, you get a dialogue in the center of the screen, and you enter your stuff, and you get your information. But I think, should we take a look how we could create like two widgets for one and the same solution? Yeah, we can do that.
What do you think, guys?
Would you be interested in that, Stefan? So we take there a look into. I think I saw a very cool solution from MT Tech for that. So that is the creator from VelocityX. Because regarding to the, I asked yesterday on Twitter what packages are getting used, and surprisingly there was the answer VelocityX for responsive designs.
Wow, okay.
And I was like, okay, I took a look into it, but the problem was the documentation seems not to be ready for that. So there is a big to-do documentation, and I was a bit too lazy to dig deep into the VelocityX just to find that. But what he did is he created also a responsive layout for his portfolio. Okay. And what I found there is he created a very cool widget that I would like to show you, because that widget, he surrounded everything with that.
Okay.
And the cool thing is he said something like large screen, medium screen, and small screen.
Yeah.
And depending on that, he introduced different variables and a different builder.
Okay.
So you could use that. So I hope I can recreate it, else I will take a look into his solution so that we can work that together out, okay? So for that, I will create here for now an own, do we have something? Yeah, I can take the widgets folder, I think, and I will call that a responsive widget. Widget.dart. And this responsive widget will now have the stateless widget parts like every other, right? So responsive widget. And what I want to do is I want to have like a surrounding widget around all the widgets that we will create.
Yes.
And these widgets will be changing their behavior and their visibility depending on if they are large, medium, or small sized. Okay. So for that, we need some helper methods, right? So we need to know if we are on a small device, big device, or even on a small device, medium device, or big device, right?
Okay.
And we can give these breakpoints, I would say, ourselves.
Okay.
So what we will start with is, for example, is small screen. This will just return a boolean and is more or less just a getter, right? And this one has a media query .off, and then we get the context, and now we can ask for the size, right?
Yes.
And here we have, for example, the width and the height, and we could check something like equals to, I don't know,
or smaller,
or something like that. Yes, smaller than. So, and now we have to give the size, how small it is, right?
Okay.
And I see right now we can't make it a gather method, of course, because we want to access the context. So for that, we have to pass the context down, and then we have to execute that and return the media query.
Yes, okay.
So whenever we want to use this method, we want to have a context for that.
Okay.
So, and what would be a small screen for us? Everything below 800, I assume?
think, do we have maybe exact definition of different screens, or?
Not really, no. I think the device screen can give you a hint what is regarding a small screen, but you have to figure that a bit for yourself, I think. So it depends on where you want to make your breakpoints, right? So you can say everything below 800 needs to be always 100% of width, because with that you will always have enough space for everything.
Okay.
Okay, the other idea is that we have like a medium device or screen, opening up the context, and we return the media query of context size width, and this is smaller than, I would say, to
Max,
80.
I will do it. Yours.
Okay, all right, thank you. I couldn't. Can you turn on the light?
Turn on the light.
It's getting slowly dark here in Germany. Just measure the width. Yes. If you are going to the width, that is mostly enough. I think the same thing we do in the web development. In web development, we also check for the different screen sizes by width, by breaking points. And I think that will work there already pretty good. So what we could also take a look in is, for example, Bootstrap, how they do it. And I think Bootstrap has also these ways of separating the different screen sizes. And if we take a look for their example application here, you can see I can choose different screens and different widths, and with that we get also different breakpoints, right? And as you can see on the iPhone 6, 7 and 8, they are looking all the same because the screen width is nearly the same. On an iPad it looks a bit different because we have way more space, right? And more or less the space for the width is more important than the height, for example. Okay. And the last media query that we would have is large screen, which also gets a context, and we would return the media query of context, size width, and we would say everything that is larger than 1920. So from there, or better from 1280.
Yeah.
So, and with that, we do something like this, right?
Yes.
And now what if I have that right in memory, he did something like the following. He created a widget, and the widget was just a builder that creates more or less the different widgets, right?
Okay.
So he had a widget, and if I remember right, he had 3 different values that he can pass into it. That was once the final widget small screen, final widget medium screen, and last a final widget large screen. So why final? Well, it is a stateless widget, right? And if you take a look into it, then we can jump into creating a constructor. And now we can pass down these different screen sizes. And what he did is he returned, depending on the different screen sizes, the widget. How did he do that? Let me think. There was something with...
Where did you see the...
where did I see it? Oh, maybe I can open up the website again. Yeah. So if we are going to his package, for example, VelocityX, right? He also created that nice little... I think he has a website for all his tutorials, the collection of the Flutter apps in that case. And as you can see, he created all his different things here. And what I found is here down here at Flutter Web, Desktop and Responsive. I will add that to the chat if I think. And what he did is inside of the responsive app, he created it here. And he also created that responsive widget. And as you can see, it is a stateless widget with large screen, medium screen, small screen. And the booleans, so they are static even. Okay, that's cool. And fair enough. And what he did is small screen is defined by the 800. Oh, you see, I had that good in mind. Then,
can you make it a little bit bigger?
Oh yeah, sorry. So this and 800, and everything as a medium screen is between 800 and 1200, right? And in the builder function, he created a layout builder. That was the name. Yeah. So the layout builder receives the constraints of the website, right? Of the space that there is.
Of different screens.
Yes, of the different screens. And with that, we have the possibility to return the different screens then. So you can see, as a fallback, he will have always a large, right? So, and what he is doing is he returns a large screen or a medium screen, but if there is no medium screen, he will show the large screen always.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So with that, you will always have the default screen more or less, and then you will fall back to that all the time.
Okay.
And with that, he is a bit more safe, right? So, cool. We would have the same thing here, layout builder, or we can have the same thing. I think it is not mandatory. That looks pretty awesome. Yeah. I think that is also the way to go with a responsive UI. I think we watched also that speech from Rody Davis.
Rody Davis spoke
and it was also amazing. I will add after that video the link down in the video description. I think that's the easiest way that you... it's not part of the Velocity, it's the tutorial for him for a responsive website. So it is his portfolio idea. Or maybe I can also add that quickly. I have anyway there. And there is the chat. Open a web browser. Let's see if I can post it so quickly. Here we go. So then you have that also, everything set up.
It will come.
So I would set the default screen size to the application use. Exactly, I think that is exactly what he's doing. So if we take a look into his main.dart, because the first time when I looked into it, we have this profile page, right?
Yeah.
And this profile page looks interesting because he creates the responsive widget surrounding of the scaffold, right? So he has the responsive widget, then a large screen, and he didn't provide anything else. So no medium screen, no small screen. And so with that, this scaffold is always the default screen, and only if he wants to have it, then he can introduce that.
Can you add the chat to the screen?
I did that once. The thing is, in YouTube, for example, the chat is always as a part of the live stream.
Yeah, later you can just turn it on if you want.
Exactly. And I can't see it anyway, so I thought with that we don't have so much clutter on the screen.
Yes.
But if it is a wish of you, Amish, we can think about it, of course.
Okay.
Okay, but this large screen is a really cool idea, and I really like the idea because, for example, we can then split up like, okay, we have a small screen, a large screen, and so on and so forth.
Yes, Hamish, we can see your chat messages. It's again the latency. Let's build it for a recipe app. I'm learning so much from this live stream. Amazing, guys. So, Max, go further.
Cool.
Perfect.
So here we go, responsive widget. We go down here again, and I just take another look. So here he has checked the constraints once more. And as I can see, he don't use these things inside of the layout builder himself. So he calculates it more or less once more. Yeah, that is an option, and what I will do is for sure is wait here, here, and here. I will make these things static because then we can call that without initializing the responsive widget. Actually, we can just work with it. And for the builder, now we have the opportunity to make the if statements, right? Like we learned it. So we can say media query of we get the context. We have the size, we have to, no, we don't need even that.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
If,
yes?
Yeah, go. If is small screen?
Yes, we have the problem that we have here the constraints. And now I said we don't want to rely on the static methods, right? How can I get the size parent widget from child widget? That's a good question. I think you have to pass them down as an option. I think the size is working. That's a good question. I don't know. We have to check that, Amish. Maybe we can take a look into that. So constraints dot. So what do we have as a constraint? I think I take a look into the layout builder first, just to take a double look what happens here. So we have the render. We get all these debug things, and these constraints are box constraints. Okay. So these are box constraints, and this is the build context. Here we go. And now, what gives us these constraints now? Here we go. And this constraint gives us now the width constraints, for example, or max width and min width. Yeah.
I think the max width.
I'm not sure if there's nothing else. So let's take a look here again what he is doing. He takes the max width, so the maximum size that is possible.
Yeah.
So let's take the max width, and say, as we said up there, the max width is smaller than 800. Can you explain me why we use the constraints instead of using these static methods that we created? Do you have an idea?
Maybe we can access it better, or is it the case?
Exactly.
And inside of the widget?
The layout builder is already very much optimized. So that means the Flutter team invested a lot of time to make it very performant. And this could be very much more performant because it's getting loaded in the startup and everything is saved in there. So the media queries are always a bit slower. Right? So because we make it dynamically, but while the layout builder knows exactly the constraints already. So we can use that to make it a bit better. And now we want to return, if this is true, we want to return small screen. And if the constraints dot max width is smaller than is bigger than 800, but smaller than 1280, then we want to return medium screen. Oops. That is wrong. And constraints dot max width up like that. And then, last but not least, we want to return large screen. So, and we large screen. And what we also not have to forget is if there is no small screen, we have to return the large screen, right?
Yeah.
Same for the medium screen. So this annotation is clear?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So if this is empty or null, then we are returning large screen. So it is just a check.
Yes.
And exactly, it also can rebuild on the fly. So Shiva is right.
Yeah.
Right. So whenever we change the navigation, it will automatically re-trigger, while the static things maybe don't re-trigger. But I think media query off should re-trigger in any case. So for example, if we change something, then actually it should re-trigger the build. Yeah. But I'm not sure with that, so that's fine. Okay. So that was quite a lot, right? So this is smaller, exactly. And here I would also add this second parameter that we added. So if this is bigger than 800, right? And smaller than 1280, then it is a medium screen size, right?
Okay.
Cool. And this responsive widget we can now use all over the place, wherever we want to work, right? So for example, what we said is we would like to have if we take a look into our Mac OS, right? We have at the moment here a very big screen size. And it would be fantastic if we can split the screen into two parts, right? Yeah. So what I would like to see is like...
if this is a large screen,
yep,
go for
two screens.
Two screens, for example.
Yeah, something like that. So how could we do that? The easiest option would be we take a look how we started everything, right? We have the dashboard screen here, and already here with the scaffold, we could start with the responsive UI. And at the moment, we created in the dashboard screen, that whole thing, that whole part. So what we could do is call that, because it is the first screen, that dashboard screen, right? What we could do is we could take everything away and create an own widget for that, right? Because what I want to do is we want to wrap that with a responsive widget. And this, what we have at the moment, is the small child screen, right? So is it a small or medium screen? Both of them,
this right? What we have is, I would say, medium and small.
So in the worst case, we have to write it now twice, right? Because we
How
have
about if we just rename this widget which we have to the, just rename this one and create a new widget for the large screen.
That we could also do, yeah. That surrounds everything. That
surrounds everything, yeah.
Yeah, that's also possible. So we would create a new screen that we would call, for example,
yeah.
I could say something like main screen. Congratulations, Amish. You're really thrilled about these points. I didn't know that. Maybe I should create more of them. So main screen.dart. And the main screen.dart has a stateless widget, which then has main screen name. And we import that. And now we want to have the responsive widget. And the responsive widget has as a small screen just the dashboard screen. Yep. As a medium screen, we have also the dashboard screen. And as a large screen, we will create our own. So we will have a new widget, right?
Yes.
So what we can do is just having a row for that.
What we can
with children. And one of the children is the dashboard screen,
for example.
And the second screen is the add recipe screen, right? So if we would do something like that, and I hope I didn't make any mistakes, which I did, here's a semicolon missing, and we restart our application, and of course in the main we have to use, instead of the dashboard screen, our first screen, we have to use in that case the main screen. So we get an error, unfortunately. Here we go, a lot of issues. And most likely this is because of infinity width, right? Because we have now exactly the problem that we have a row with two elements that could have an infinity width. So what I will do is I wrap them both in an expanded widget. So that worked already.
Well, what we can do is also...
easy enough?
Yeah. Perfect.
So if I restart, if I make them smaller, we have now the small screen, right? If we are coming to this breakpoint, we can't see it now, but it would show us now two different options, right? which it does actually. I don't know where this comes from, but but if we make it big enough, now thanks to our power of Flutter, we have managed it to have on the left side the screen of the dashboard, and on the right side the add recipe screen. And instead of doing it just like that, right? Because now we have this weird behavior, we could start by creating menus for that, for example, so that we click on anything and we set up the whole part. We will show that. Or what we also could do is having a border in between.
Yeah, I think the menu is a good point. Sandwich menu, is that right name? I think.
Burger menus, I think the name right now. Yeah. But
burger menu, for example, on the left side we can show.
Yeah. The only thing is what we have now to take care of is, for example, that we disable that add button, because what happens, of course, is we get navigated to the add bar.
Yeah.
But what we could maybe do is that we keep that empty, and instead of there is no light.
There's no light T-shirt on the merge.
Oh no!
I don't know. It's.
I will work on that.
We will work on that. Transition animation. What's going on?
Yeah, I think you remember this one?
Yeah.
It's still my favorite.
It's gonna be cover the whole screen for that. That's right.
Yes, but and the worst thing is I have to restart. So, but this is already pretty cool, I think. And now the border would make sense, and I think the add recipe is maybe just not the right screen. What would maybe make way more sense is, for example, that instead of if we click here, we would get the categories being visualized as an own screen. We get them visualized at the add recipe part, right?
On the right side, you mean?
On the right side, exactly, where we are at the moment empty.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when we have this, we would not show the add recipe screen, we would show the category screen. And the problem here is obvious that we have to give some data inside. And the category name is at the beginning null.
Yeah.
So what we probably would have to do is, what we would have to do is we have to make that main thing
sandwich menu.
The good old sandwich
burger menu, yeah.
So what we would have to do is make the main screen somehow stateful by giving it a provider package with a provider or doing anything, but we have to make it stateful, because at the beginning this category name would be null, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. I have to give it because else it breaks like it does here still. Where is coming that a null string must provide a text widget? I did. Let's see. Okay. So you can see we have now null, right? But if we click that, you remember that we talked about in set state video about lift the state up.
Yeah.
And exactly this would be the case. We need to lift the state up to the main screen, because it has now state between the first screen and the second screen.
And I think we can also think a little bit more about the new design for the bigger screen.
Absolutely. I think we absolutely should do that till the next time. But what I would do for now, because that we solved something, right? Because sorry for that there was so many problems again in our live stream. But you know, there is no stream with us without technical issues. And what we will do now is I will just add a border here somewhere. Okay?
Yes, go for it. I think it's gonna be on the main screen. What we can do is it's a row, and between them brick and divider.
Correct. We have these two parts here, and I think if we just add a divider, we would be even ready to go, right? I don't know. Let's see.
I think it's a material divider, so it should work actually out of the box.
Yeah, but I can't see it. So maybe I have to give some parameters inside, like for example thickness.
Yeah.
Let's make it really thick. Maybe pass a color inside, so colors.black.
Gray, yeah.
And hot reload maybe. Interesting. Height, double infinity. So now I'm playing just around. I don't understand why it's not working. That's a bit sad. Can we add a border itself? No. I will close everything up and then.
Have you added your portfolio to Flutter Pro? No. Did you?
No, I don't have a portfolio, sadly. Still not. I'm still working on it since 8 years. Maybe it's getting finished someday. I think I have a CodePen portfolio at the moment. That's something. Not all of them have it. Maybe I can show you later what I managed with the responsive design for the CodePen. I was very proud of that.
You fixed it, yeah.
Yeah, I finally fixed it, yeah. So, but can someone explain me why this divider is not working yet? I thought that should do the trick. I think the easiest way is to give a container with the height of
you can go
dot infinity and then just give that a border. But this doesn't sound right, or?
Actually not. I think this is the reason why we have the material divider. I thought
a spacer could be an option, but spacer would just give space between the two options, right? So now we would have them. Oh, cool. Yeah, we have a border, a bit bigger than we expected.
What's that?
It worked. So this is the spacer. We push both elements from each other, right? So that's perfectly fine. But if the spacer is working, so why is the divider not working? Divider. Is there a difference between horizontal and? Yeah, this is the fan sound of our Mac. It's getting hot, very hot. It's very interesting because if I type, my finger cups. Is this the finger cup?
But actually, we put
the tip of my finger.
We put the microphone so far away actually from the Mac, but still you guys can hear that. It's crazy. So divider. Create a material design divider. The height, thickness, indent, and end indent must be none.
Or non-negative. Okay, that sounds good. So divider. I thought maybe there is a vertical divider. Vertical and horizontal. Yeah, vertical divider. And it has also a color and everything. So let's try that. With the width. I don't know why it needs a width. Ah, here we go. I think I have it.
What's going on?
So we have the divider now.
Yeah.
Okay. I used the vertical divider instead of a normal one.
Normal one is for horizontal, you mean?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a guess, but yeah, somehow it's not visible, so I assume that needs to be a vertical divider. Good. So now we add also the thickness, and I think that can be a 1.0. And what else do we need? I think the rest is okay.
For now, this widget name, Sawtooth.
It's still very thick.
Hamish said there is a widget named Sawtooth.
Sawtooth?
Sawtooth, what's that? What does it do?
Sawtooth, I don't know. So let's have a look. It's an animation curve. If we open up that video, oh geez. Yeah, it's a sawtooth. Interesting enough. Doesn't help me with the very thick vertical divider. Why is it so thick? Do I have to pass the width into it? So what happens if I do this? Way better.
Much better.
So we can do that maybe to the 2 or something, but that's fine. And do you have a good color for that, or should it be black?
Gray.
Gray?
Yeah, let's say. Now what's going on in the log?
Let's have a look. Failing debug during device update. Okay. Base mouse. Mouse tracking. It seems that we have some problems with the macOS part itself without anything from my side. But cool. So now we have these parts. We can navigate to that. And I think for bigger devices, what the next step would be is that we lift the state up. Maybe this we can set for the next week. That we really say, okay, we click on one of the categories like noodles, rice, chicken, and so on and so forth. And thank you for the subscription.
Yeah, amazing.
And then we will have that part. And Amish wants to have a shade, so he gets a shade. So
voilà. 100, right? 100. And looks much better.
Is it gray actually? It's still looking very dark blackish. Can I make it green? Just verify it. It's still looking black, or is it just me?
That mouse tracking will never be a big issue.
Okay, so do you know something? Is that an issue in Flutter already? So is it in the Flutter GitHub repository that there is an issue for that?
But why can't you change the color of your...
I don't know. Generally speaking, I would assume that this is now a problem from the framework. That maybe we can't do that on macOS at the moment on the desktop part. On the other hand, it's really weird that we can't change the color here. Ah, now it works. Ah, we have to pass the thickness down. Don't know why. That's all right, Stefan. Thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Who has kitchen service at our place? Do you? Me? No one?
We'll speak about it later.
All right.
So
make that one gray.
Gray with the shadows.
Shade of 700.
Yeah, with the shade. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty cool.
Amazing, Max.
Perfect. I think we managed very much today, even though that we have some start issues with running up the whole Flutter part, getting running with different channels, downloading everything, setting up Android Studio, working with Visual Studio Code. But the responsive part was very useful.
I would say the same. That was a good start for the responsive design. So we should probably think about a little bit about the new design of for big screens for our application.
Yeah.
And for the next week, we have a little bit better idea about how we will set it up.
Exactly. And I think
further.
Yeah, and for all of you, you have seen how we work with responsive layouts, how we understand them, how we work with them. So device preview is a really cool tool for that. I highly recommend that. And next week we could maybe take a look into Roddy Davis package and maybe have some packages for responsive design.
For example, yeah.
Maybe they deliver better options. For example, I think at the beginning of the live stream, someone asked us already for for one of the responsive layout packages that we could use. So we would maybe take a look into that.
We can do that.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty awesome.
Yes, and Mino said this mouse tracking issue is mostly faced in other than stable version. Very less problem. Yeah.
I think that has something to do with the desktop or web application because we are working on master at the moment.
Yes.
Cool. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Yes, that was again an amazing session with you guys. Thank you for joining us.
It was amazing to see so many new faces, Shiva and Minu and all the other people.
Who
thank you so much for
today to our channel.
For us.
Next live gonna be again on Saturday.
Yes. Saturday most likely. Yeah. There I want to talk about. I had a topic that I want to talk about. I don't know that anymore. You will get the information. Yeah.
Keep calm and keep working on great idea and also have good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Have a great day and stay safe.
Exactly. And press the like button. See ya.